All right, off to HEB. Yeah, so I heard you doing the stairs today, so I was like, oh, he's getting those steps in, and those are the hardest ones, going up and down those steps.
Oh yeah, I felt it bad on my back, and yeah, I don't think I'm ready for the stairs yet. I'll try to do it like 5 stairs, but I try to go up all the way, and I didn't have nothing to grab on. I was like, no one halfway up the steps actually.
Yeah. So did you get all the way up the steps, or just halfway? Halfway, and then come back down? And you were like, nah.
Yeah, it's not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Still too early.
Yeah, no. I mean, heck, you were still in the rehab hospital just 2 days ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, steps are probably I would just say walking, forward and back for a while. It's probably gonna be enough for you. Yeah, I think we had a little bit of rain this morning. It's just going to be overcast and like this for a while. And it's tough to get out and try to walk in weather like this when it's so chilly. Let's see something. Where's it having us going to at the...
I forgot I could put my phone right there. It'll charge it up.
Oh yeah, here you go.
Yeah, so on the all over social media, they're trying to attack Elon Musk.
Yeah, they've been doing that. Of course, they've been trying to attack Elon over stuff for years, but yeah, it has. I think it's gotten to peak hatred that we've seen on Elon. Now, that being said, I think it's going to get worse.
It's the left. He's exposed a lot of stuff that's been corrupt.
Well, that's the issue, right?
Yeah.
Is that as soon as you start exposing, it's I think the thing that has been so.
Oh man.
Oh, we're gonna be stuck here for a little bit. Oh well, no, they're coming through pretty fast. That train's coming through pretty fast, but. Part of it is the stuff that his team is unveiling, like,
yeah,
it's just silly.
Yeah.
It's like nobody can literally defend, so that you're hearing arguments like, well, it's only a few $billion, and it's like, really? That's your argument over some of these things that we're giving money for? It's like, that's number one, that's the reason we're in this issue. because people say, well, it's only a few billion here or a few billion there compared to a, you know, multi-trillion-dollar budget. It's like, well, how in the world do you think we got to where we're at? It's because it was a few billion here, a few billion there. So you got to, so number one, that's how you're going to do it, is incrementally, right? But I think the thing that's been worse and why the backlash has been so harsh is because of the stuff they're unveiling. It's just so dramatically bad.
Oh man.
Like that's the only kind of, they're embarrassed, I think. I mean, maybe they're not. I mean, that's the only, like the typical American would be saying, well, gosh, they're obviously embarrassed by what our government has been spending money on. And so that's why they're acting like a cornered cat, because it is so embarrassing what the money's being spent on.
It's money laundering, it's stealing.
Well, that's the worst case scenario, right? That, like, you hope that's not the issue. You hope that it's not so bad that literally, you know, the establishment.
It's gonna come down to it. I mean, 22 million for Iraq.
Yeah, that's not even the funniest one. I mean, there's some that's like how to make salamanders something. I mean, I'm obviously being tongue in cheek on that. I'm sure it wasn't salamanders.
No, it's Guatemala. Guatemalans. It's ridiculous. Somewhere, I don't know, some crazy foreign land. But yeah, that's some.
Yeah, I mean,
the 22 million for Iraq is.
Yeah, well, that's
the funniest one.
Yeah, well, there's a lot that are the same thing. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, but when the argument is, well, it's only $22 million in our budget, I was like, well, that's the reason. Like, when you make an argument like that, you're literally making the argument for Doge, for Elon. It's like, because that's how we got into the problem. It wasn't like, you know, we didn't get into this budget deficit issue like last week. I mean, this stuff piles up over time. Don't get me wrong, there's some big ticket items that we need to go after, like in the Defense Department. But that's the thing. I think it makes me feel like the arguments are coming from places like the Defense Department, because they want the eyes like on that stuff, on the weird, silly stuff that we're spending money on that literally nobody can defend. Because they know ultimately, oh gosh, what happens when they come into the Defense Department? What are they going to find in here? And they have to be given keys to it. The President of the United States appoints the Secretary of Defense. So they're going to be, regardless of what happens, they're going to have the opportunity to see what's in there. And I'm telling you, that's the one that's going to be interesting, is like the Department of Defense, the FBI, the DOJ, that whole area there. And they have to be able to see, because the president is going to be able to appoint everybody that's in charge of those places. And by default, they have to be given the power to see what they're, because I mean, the director of the FBI is going to be on the hot seat every year to report back to Congress on what's going on at the FBI. The Secretary of Defense is going to be on the hot seat with Congress every year to report back on what's going on in the Defense Department. Well, guess what? The Secretary of Defense has to be able to look at in order to answer you. They have to look at the books and records of the Defense Department. Like, that's the thing. Congress isn't thinking that way. It's like, well, wait a second. You can't even grill this person over to the Defense Department unless they're able to see what's underneath the hood at the Defense Department. So some folks in Congress, I think they're in a damned if you do, damned if you don't place, because they don't want the new Secretary of Defense to be able to look at that. But then you can't hold that person accountable for the next 4 years if you don't give them access. So it's like, we have this weird conundrum going on right now. that literally the folks that are trying to hang on for life and don't want this to happen, they are damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
It's like they don't want people to see what's in there, but at the same time, they want to hold the folks accountable at the Defense Department. Well, how do you hold them accountable? They have to be able to know what's in their own organization. It's the weirdest. Yeah. Interest. It's I mean, it's all going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, by default, that's the silliest statement in the world, right? That the Secretary of the Treasury should not be able to understand what's going on inside his Treasury Department, or the Secretary of Defense should not be given access to the books and records of the Defense Department. I mean, that may be the silliest thing I've ever said in the last 12 months, but those are some arguments that are actually being made right now legally. I mean, it's
a transfer of power. They have to show it. You know?
Yeah, it's just it's going to be an interesting 4 years. And I mean, even more so, probably the next 12 to 24 months are going to be some of the most interesting 12 to 24 months in our nation's history. It really is. This is my opinion, is that at a certain point, all of the protest and angst you see against it right now, that's going to start falling apart. And that's going to become a very, very, like, all the people on Capitol Hill that are against what Elon, that's going to start falling apart.
Yeah.
And so what I would tell folks is they knew this was going to happen. Like, they knew all this was going to happen. Like, there's no way you go into Washington, D.C. and start doing Doge and not have their back. And in fact, I'll be quite honest with you, I would have probably had less respect for had they not put up a fight, right? This is the only thing you can do. Only thing you can do is put up a fight and try to make some of the weirdest arguments you can ever make and twist yourself into pretzels. But they got to do it. Otherwise, I mean, you can't just lay down, right? I mean, your constituents didn't vote you in to just lay down. I don't know what their constituents voted them in to do necessarily when it comes to Doge. I mean, that's the issue that they're going to have, is that a lot of their constituents want the government to stop spending more than we bring in. They want that. Like, even very, will still tell you, like, yeah, I mean, I gotta balance my checkbook every month.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't the government? So even folks that want us spending our money on more type of programs, they still understand that they have to balance their checkbook every month and they have to balance their budget. So why shouldn't the government? I mean, their only disagreement with folks is once we do have a balanced budget, what do we spend that money on? Right? That's where the difference, but most Americans agree that the United States government should stop spending more than we bring in. Right? There's differences of opinion of how we balance all that, like via taxes or spending cuts, but all of them agree we need a balanced budget.
Yep.
And then even below that, the vast majority also understand we can't do it through tax increases. Like, at a certain point, we just don't have enough billionaires in the country to tax enough. Because, I mean, our budget's gotten way out of whack. Like, it's not like, our budget's not like in the millions or in the billions out of whack. It's in the trillions, multiple trillions out of whack. So you can't just do that through tax increases. And I think the majority know that if we all of a sudden just tax the living hell out of everybody, well, our GDP is going to go to hell. Because if you tax somebody to a certain point, well, there's no incentive to build anything in the United States, right? If I'm going to tax you 80%, well, why am I going to build a business in the United States? I'm going to go overseas and build it. So again, that's above 50% understand that. And so I think that's what some folks on Capitol Hill are struggling with, is even their own constituents understand that we have to do Doge to some degree. It has to be done.
Doge is amazing.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a really good job, excellent job, finding out all the flaws, all the where our money's gone, why we're overtaxed, and they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah,
hopefully they could save California too.
Yeah, I mean, California, the states is, you know, that's going to have to be a different thing, right? Because, you know, fortunately, we live in a, what do they call it, a Republican democracy, where the states have a lot of power too over themselves. So yeah, obviously the federal government is the highest level, but there's a lot of things that is left to the states. And I mean, I'll tell you this, like, I don't want the federal government telling California exactly what they can and can't do, because I don't want them to turn around and tell Texas what they can and can't do, right? One of the reasons why Texas has been so great here recently is because we do have that separation of powers, right? And that Texas does have quite a lot of leeway over itself. So ironically, that's where I don't want the federal government to get in to California. That Californians are going to have to do that on their own. It's just flat out. Wow, that person's got a lot of bumper stickers, and they'd really like.
They got Kamala on there.
They like Kamala Harris and that Walsh guy. They're getting old. Wow, and they really want you to know too in their Prius, Toyota Prius. Yeah.
They probably moved here from out of state.
No, we got, I mean, even in Texas, they got, you know, God bless them. I tell you what, that's actually one of the bravest people in the country right here, because we live in one of the reddest areas of the reddest states, and they're in a Toyota Prius, driving around with a whole bunch of Kamala Harris, Tim Walz stickers on. So kudos to them, man. That's a brave individual right there. You know, at least they're wearing their hearts on their sleeve. But that's, I'll shake that person's hand, buy them a beer, or whatever it is they drink. Kombucha, organic, some organic drink. But, yeah.
I thought Doge was some kind of currency.
It is. It's a cryptocurrency. So it's two different things. The Doge that we've been talking about is an acronym for Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE,
Yeah.
Doge. But yeah, they kind of wanted to make it a play off of the words of the cryptocurrency Doge as well. I think at one time Elon was kind of a fan of Doge, that crypto, like the ideals that it stood for. All right, let's see what we do here, because I think we have a lane selection snafu here. Let's see how it does, because it is not going to be able to. Is it going to get over there? Yeah, it does. And there was a gap too. Still though, it should have gotten over sooner than that. It's still making that lane selection issue right there at the intersection of North Park and 494. So technically, if we knew we were going to be going straight underneath the bridge and turning left from here into HEB, it should have been over one more lane before then. But it waited till the very end. All right, let's see how we do here in the HEB parking lot. So yeah, it still made that lane selection snafu there. It's able to correct itself. It finds a gap and gets over. But yeah, that's the Doge that we've been talking about, the one that Elon's been heading up. That's the Department of Government Efficiency. All right. Stop at the stop sign. So I'm gonna make a turn in here. Let's see if it tries to park us or just drops us off.
You might have to drop me off at the front.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what
it's gonna do.
Yeah, what it's gonna do, and then once we do that, I'll get you up to the front. What I can do is, yeah, let's just see. Maybe it'll take this parking spot. Let's see. Well, I took the pin out. I don't think it's going to try to park now. Yeah, it's just going to. So what I'm going to do, yeah, it's going to go. Now I think I may have taken that pin out too early. We're not going to mess with that right now. I'm going to get you to the front. Let's, you want me to get you right up here?
Yeah, right up there.
Yeah, let me just make sure that, there we go. Let me get you over here. Just kind of get out of people's way. All right.
I'm gonna grab one of these carts and I'm gonna walk it to one of those thing. I'll wait for you.
Okay. Hey, good parking job there. All right, well, that one worked. So let me go meet my brother-in-law at the front of HEB, and we'll be back in just a little bit. All right, everybody. Bye. Here first. All right. Home. All right. Bring that up. All right, what were you saying?
Oh, if you could hook up some rice.
Yeah, sure.
Like probably not 2 cups, probably like cup and a half.
Cup and a half.
Yeah,
okay.
just for me and you.
Yep. Yeah, we don't have anybody. Wyatt's not here, and that boy can eat a cup and a half by himself.
Yeah. Thank you, JC, man. I wish I could have helped you.
No, man. No worries about it, man. No worries at all, dude.
I know it's an exercise for yeah, let's say we bought. You gotta. Oh man.
Don't worry about that at all, because I know that it won't be long from now.
Yeah.
You know, pretty soon you're going to be able to do that on your own again.
Yeah.
So you're good. All good in the hood. You flexing. How's the temp in here, bud?
It's good.
Good. Not
Way
too
better.
hot, not too cold.
Nope. Way better than outside.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised it's only showing 52. For some reason, it just feels a little colder than 52. Feels like it's in the 40s, and it's not that windy.
Wow, where's all this traffic coming from?
It's Friday night, man.
Oh, it is Friday.
5 o'clock on a Friday, man.
What's this road lead down to? I never.
This one?
Yeah.
So if you take this all the way down, it goes into some more newer neighborhoods of Kingwood.
Yeah.
But it also goes down to Lone Star College.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lone Star College is back that way. So I think their campus comes pretty close to all the way out to North Park. Basically, their campus is between Kingwood Drive and North Park Drive, but like 2 miles back there.
They got a few Lone Stars, huh?
Yeah, there's Lone Stars all over Houston. So it used to be, I can't remember if Lone Star started out as part of Houston Community College, but that's what it is. It's basically a 2-year college. So it's a good way, if you do it right. What Lone Star is really good. Number one, Lone Star is a good school. I mean, they have good programs there. If you do it correctly, what Lone Star is good for really good for two things. For kids that maybe just can't afford to spend 4 years away at a 4-year university, like the tuition's a little too much, and they can't afford to, go away from home for that long. A lot of kids will get their first 2 years of college done at Lone Star, because whatever you get here, those credits, almost all of them will transfer over to a 4-year university. And it's just a lot cheaper. So like, if you do a full semester at Lone Star, that's basically $1,000, maybe a little north of that, but let's say $1,000 to $1,500. A full semester at most 4-year universities, I mean, that's, even in the state of Texas, take room and board out of it, that's $10,000 to $15,000.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's about 10%. Lone Star is about 10 to 15% of what a typical 4-year university's tuition is. And I'm not counting room and board. So like Wyatt right now, full throttle is about $25,000 a year for where he's going to school.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, I can afford it, and he wants that 4-year university atmosphere. But a lot of kids aren't as fortunate as Wyatt, right?
Yeah.
And they can't afford to spend that much money on college. Even with financial aid and scholarships and stuff, it just racks up. It's expensive. Colleges have gotten really, really expensive. That's another thing. Talk about Doge needing to get in and rattle some cages. When they started showing how much of a school's, like there's more administrative people at a college today than there are people teaching classes. It's nuts. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So yeah. So like when remember Zoe went to Lone Star, and Vivi, they both went to Lone Star. And yeah, that was like before any financial aid, that was like $1,000 to $1,500 a semester. And so it's night and day different. And so the downsides though is somebody might look at that and go, well, hell, why doesn't just everybody spend their first 2 years at the problem is well, twofold. A lot of kids, they want that 4-year experience, right? Go off. Secondly, it's a lot easier to get into certain programs at a university 2 or 3 years later if you've already been there than somebody transferring in elsewhere. So like you want to get into the business school or the engineering school or something like that. But honestly, the biggest issue is most kids that go to a 2-year college, they fiddle fart around and it never ends up going to a 4-year university.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's really, I hate to say it's money down the drain, but if you just go and fiddle fart around at a 2-year college and never really, you're just throwing darts at the wall and never really get on a program, and then you never really go to a 4-year university, you'd almost have been better off just getting into the workforce.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I would tell, like, kids that don't know if they want to go to college and they think they may not want to do a 4-year degree, I would tell them to go into the trades. Like, learn a trade, right? Become a welder, an electrician, an HVAC guy, right? Because those folks get paid really well. Really well. And the amount of school they have to go through is a year instead of 4, right? Like welding school, I think that's like 9 months for welding school. HVAC may be a little longer than that. That may be like a year and a half. But that would be my recommendation, is more kids need to go into the trades. Learn a trade. Become a carpenter or a welder.
Pile driver.
There you go. Well, but definitely something that's like got a trade, thing to it, because it's transferable, right? Like welding can go with almost anything, right? A HVAC guy, holy moly, son! The folks that deal with AC and heating, those, and you can start your own business with that. You okay?
Yeah. Think about time for meds. Yeah, 5:16.
About that time.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off till like 6 o'clock.
All right, we got a pedestrian along the side. We're getting over around them. Good job. We got oncoming vehicles. And there we go. Good job. So we got some more pedestrians coming out here.
That's my trade as a pile driver.
Yep.
That's why I said pile driver.
Yeah. Well, it's just that with HVAC and stuff, you can actually start a business, like a standalone business with that. But yeah, you're a pile driver. You work your ass off, and you get paid good too. The only difference there is like you can't like start a business of pile driving. Usually pile driving is like part of a construction crew, right? Whereas an HVAC guy or a welder, they can start their own shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was meaning by like get a trade certification. But no, pile driving, hell yeah, go into pile. What I would say for that is if a kid doesn't even know what they want, if they think they may want to get a trade at one point, but they don't know what they want to do, just get on a construction crew, right? Just get on a construction crew, do pile driving, do rebar, first of all, figure out if that's the lifestyle for you. Because it pays good, as you would tell them, but it's a hard life too, right? Like, look at you. We're getting back and neck surgery for you. So make sure that you're cut out for it. That's what you want to do. Because you've probably seen that too. You've probably seen some young bucks come through there and think they're hot stuff. And that atmosphere chews them up and spits them out, right?
Yeah. So
make sure that lifestyle's for you. If it is, good for you, because it pays good. But just get out there with a construction crew and do everything. Pile driving, rebar, all the different stuff y'all do. And then find something in there that's like and get a trade. Like go hard in the paint on one specific thing, like welding or carpentry. Hell, I'm sure there's a ton of stuff boiler making. There's a ton of stuff I'm not even thinking about. Boiler makers, those guys make good money.
Yeah, they do a lot of the turnaround work.
Yep. But they basically own the turnaround work. That's the thing, man. Nobody, for decades and decades, our country has just looked down on the trades. We've said if it's not a 4-year degree, it's bust. And now look at these people coming out with human resource degrees, spending $150,000 on a human resource degree, and their world's getting blown up because if you're not building something now. And that's what I'm saying. You got to whatever you do, even if you go to a 4-year school, make sure your degree is centered around things where people are building something with their hands. Because if you're not, I'm telling you, for the next 10 to 15 years, mark my words, our economy is going to be centered around men who build things. This dude right here. The guy sitting in my passenger seat, the United States economy is going to be centered around him. No longer going to be centered around the guy that goes to Columbia University and gets a degree in whatever. It's going to be this dude right here. And so you could still, like, if you want, go get an engineering degree, go do something in STEM, learn how to design the things that this dude's going to then go and build for you. But make no mistake about it, you need to center your education, whether it's hands-on education, or if you're lucky enough that you have the grades to go to a 4-year school, I would highly recommend, don't get me wrong, if you want to go do, like here I am talking and my kid's going to college to learn Japanese and theater. So, but, God, this is going to sound pompous as hell. My kid doesn't need it. I worked my ass off so that he could go study Japanese theater or Japanese and theater or whatever the hell it is. He's doing both.
Is it anime or is it Japanese?
No, he's majoring in Japanese and he's also minor in theater.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
okay. I thought there was like.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't have to work because when I croak, he's
theatrical, Japanese theatrical.
All of it. I don't know. Theatrical Japanese in the theater, talking to Japanese people at the theater. I don't know. It's something. It's something with Japanese and theater. But you know what? God bless him. I worked my ass off. You know, I didn't dodge them damn bullets over in Kuwait City. Anyway, that's a stupid joke. But yeah, going back to the main point is if you're looking to, you know, if you're fortunate enough you got the grades to go to a 4-year school and you want to do that, you want to shell out the money for it, at least make sure it's centered around this dude right here. Like designing and engineering and doing the artificial intelligence around the stuff this dude builds. Now let's see if it'll park. We got your big old truck. Will it? See, it's just too scared. I think it's not going to do it. Let's see if it's just too scared. Yeah. Well, let me see what it does here. I mean, obviously I'm going to repark anyway because of the groceries, but we'll see what it does. Let it give up. It's going to make a go at it again. I just don't think it's going to do it. The truck's too big for it to. Oh, I think I know what it's going to do. My guess is now, because it's too scared to try to get in there by your truck, it's just going to parallel park along here. I'll let it do that because actually that'll put me in a good spot to then reverse in manually so that I can get the groceries out. But yeah, that's what you ought to be doing. If you're young and you're thinking about going to college or going to college, make sure it's got something to do with STEM or artificial intelligence or all of that. Where is it trying it again? Well, while my car, am I blocking anybody? Well, I'm about to, so I may just end up taking this over here and say, is it going to make another go at it? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Seems like we just take this damn thing over and get this over with. I think I
think it's confused. It's kind of.
Yeah, it's just done. It's done. So
is this the newest upgrade on the?
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with the upgrade. It's your truck.
Yeah.
It's just it's too, like, it's parked before when nobody's in the driveway, but it's a little tentative when other cars are in the driveway. When your truck's in that driveway, it's just not. I was kind of surprised it even tried to go in there. I was fully expecting it just to see your truck and try to parallel park. So I was kind of impressed that it even tried to do it.
It did it before though. It did
without the truck there.
No, it did it before with the truck. I remember.
I don't think so. I can't. If I would have remembered that, it's done it before, but I don't think it's done it with your truck there.
I thought that was
so. Anyway,
yep.
STEM, AI, and if you're not doing that, trades. Go get a job with this dude right here on a construction crew. I'm telling you, that's where the next 10 to 15 to 20 years is going to be. Our economy is going to, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Yeah, actually, I did mean to cut you off. Our economy is going to be focused around guys like him, people that build things with their hands. We're getting back to that. No longer are we going to be this professional managerial class with 16 layers of human resources and human resource specialist and somebody that specializes in tiddlywinks time and tiddlywinks hour for somebody. No, it's going to be around dudes that build things. We're getting back to that. I'm not saying the words because I don't, but there we go. All right. You got anything to say, son?
No, I thought that was Danny DeVito on a bike right now. I was tripping. I didn't mean to cut you off.
What kind of meds they give you, brother?
No.
All right. All right. Love y'all, everybody. Bye. Danny DeVito on a bike. Wait, you sure you didn't take your meds before we went to the store?
No, I did. I think I'm...
Here, I'm going to come around and get you.